It's rarely your choices that control you. It's the unnoticed habits. James Clear. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it, and let's get started. You wake up. The world is silent, but inside, a storm. It's not screaming, it's quieter, heavier, like a weight you carry, but never really question. You go through the motions: coffee, phone, emails, someone's demands, someone's expectations. You smile, you nod, you do what needs to be done. And somewhere in the middle of all that, you vanish. There's this strange feeling, not sharp, not dramatic, but constant. Like something's wrong, but you can't point to it. You've done therapy, you've read the books, you've tried the affirmations, but still, that void, that quiet panic that maybe this is all there is. You look around, people seem fine, but you know they're not. You see it in their eyes, the fatigue, the emptiness. Everyone's pretending, everyone's coping, but no one really knows what's pulling the strings. Because here's the thing no one told you. There is something that controls your entire life. It shapes your thoughts, your relationships, your money, your emotions. It decides how you speak, how you think, how you react, how you move through the world. It's been with you since childhood. It was built quietly, repeatedly, without your permission, and it still drives you every single day. It's why you sabotage good things, why you stay stuck, why you crave things that destroy you and run from things that could save you. You didn't choose it, but it's choosing for you. This tiny, invisible mechanism is the architect of your identity, and you've never even questioned it. Most people will go through life without knowing what's really in control. They'll chase goals, relationships, dreams, but never stop to look at the code running beneath it all. Because the truth is brutal. It's not your goals that shape your life. It's not even your decisions. It's something far smaller, far quieter, and far more dangerous. You think you're in control, but that's part of the illusion. The real control lies somewhere else. And until you see it, until you face it, nothing will ever really change. This one thing can create a genius, or a ghost, a leader, or a victim, a fulfilled life, or a slow death in silence. You think you know what it is, but you don't. Not yet. By the end of this, you will. And when you do, nothing will ever look the same. You want clarity? You're about to get it. That one invisible force, the one you've never questioned, has a name. It's not fate, it's not trauma, it's not mindset, it's habit. Yes, habit. The thing you thought was just about brushing your teeth or scrolling your phone. That's the thing running your entire life. And the most dangerous part? You didn't choose most of your habits. They were installed by repetition, by survival, by your environment, by the people around you. And now they're shaping everything. Your emotions, your reactions, your thoughts, your income, your relationships, your health, your identity. You don't act from decisions. You act from defaults. And those defaults are your habits. Scientific studies confirm it. Over 90% of your behavior is automatic. That's not a metaphor. That's measurable neuroscience. Your brain isn't wired for happiness. It's wired for efficiency. And efficiency means repetition. What's familiar? What's known? Even if it's killing you. This is why you keep ending up in the same situations. Why you keep attracting the same kind of pain. Why no amount of motivation or positive thinking works. Because your conscious mind isn't driving. Your habits are. That's why people relapse. Why they sabotage love. Why they stay broke. Why they hide from success. They're not lazy. They're running code they didn't write and never questioned. Now here's the twist. Habit is neutral. It's not good or bad. It's just power, unconscious power, and power in the wrong hands becomes destruction. Most people, they've handed their power to algorithms, addictions, cultural norms, family patterns. And then they wonder why they're tired, broke, lost. Because they've been hijacked, not by some external evil, but by thousands of tiny, invisible, repeated actions that became their life script. If you wake up and check your phone before you breathe, that's not a decision. That's programming. If you feel discomfort and instantly numb it with food, sex, scrolling, that's not a flaw. That's repetition. That's a habit loop. Cue, action, reward. Neural pattern, dopamine hit, reinforcement. That's it. That's your life until you see it. And the reason this matters is brutal. Habits don't just influence your life. They are your life. They form your perception of the world. They define how you love, how you trust, how you lead, how you respond to pain. They are the hidden language of your nervous system. You've been fluent in them your entire life without even realizing it. But now that you know, you don't get to pretend anymore. You get to choose. And if that hits something deep inside you, good. That's the point. That's the break in the loop. If these words hit a nerve, it means you're ready. And if you are, subscribe to this channel. Not for me, for you. Because more people need to wake up to what's really driving them. Algorithms won't show this unless you tell them to. That's what the subscribe button is, a signal to the system. And if you want to go deeper, where the algorithms don't reach, join the Telegram. No filters, no noise, just truth. And if you recognize yourself in this, drop a comment right now. I break the cycle. Let's see who's ready to take their power back. You wake up and think you're making choices. What to eat, what to say, what to think. But look closer. Most of those choices are the same ones you made yesterday. Same thoughts, same reactions, same movements. You're not deciding, you're repeating. And repetition is the language of habit. From the moment you open your eyes to the moment you collapse into bed, you're following invisible patterns burned into your brain. Brush teeth, coffee, scroll, complain, hurry, doubt, escape, delay, pretend. Every behavior has a trigger. Every trigger a reward. Every reward a loop. And your brain loves loops, not because they're good for you, but because they're predictable. Predictability means survival, not joy, not truth, just survival. Your mind confuses familiarity with safety, so even if your habit is destroying you, your brain still craves it. Habits run deeper than action. They shape your emotions. If you're used to reacting with anger, your brain will search for reasons to stay angry. If your habit is self-blame, you'll find evidence to hate yourself, even when things go right. If your habit is avoiding, procrastinating, numbing, you'll reach for distraction before you even notice the discomfort. And here's the part no one wants to admit. You can't think your way out of a habit. You can only act your way out. Intention means nothing without interruption. Until you interrupt the loop, it runs you. Until you insert awareness into the moment, the pattern keeps driving. It's like a script you forgot you memorized. But your body remembers. Your nervous system remembers. And unless you interrupt it, your future will be identical to your past. You've been conditioned, not by a single trauma or one bad decision, but by thousands of repetitions. You were taught how to feel, how to fear, how to cope, how to shrink. And now you call it just how I am. But that's not identity. That's repetition. You're not broken, you're patterned. And the scariest part? You think it's your personality. You think it's you, but it's not. It's a system. Predictable, repeatable, programmable. And until you see it as a system, you'll keep blaming yourself for not being able to change. So here's the reality. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. That's not opinion. That's neuroscience. The strongest force in your life is what you do without thinking. And if you don't change what you do without thinking, nothing will change. Motivation fades. Emotion fluctuates. But habit is loyal. It shows up every day, even when you don't, especially when you don't. And that's either your prison or your path to freedom. You want to understand the cost of unconscious habits? Look around. Look at the addictions that feel normal. Scrolling until your brain goes numb. Drinking to escape emotions you've never learned to name. Smoking as a way to feel in control when life feels chaotic. Porn to replace intimacy. Overeating to fill a hole that was never physical. These are not bad decisions. They are automated responses to unresolved pain. They're not weakness. They're programs. Programs written in fear, avoidance, shame. And when repeated long enough, they become identity. You stop saying, "I'm doing this." You start saying, "I am this." That's the real prison. Not the habit itself, but the belief that you can't be anything else. Modern life is designed to feed the worst in us. Algorithms reward outrage. Products reward impulse. Culture rewards overwork and disconnection. So, your worst habits? They're not random. They're profitable for someone else. Every time you open a social app to escape discomfort, someone gets paid. Every time you numb with substances, some system gets stronger. And every time you abandon yourself, the world claps quietly, because now you're easier to control. That's not conspiracy. That's capitalism using psychology. And your habits, if left unconscious, make you a product inside that machine. Let's make this real. Wake up late, reach for your phone. That one gesture sets a tone. Reactivity over presence. Skip movement, skip silence, skip breath. And now your nervous system is wired for anxiety by 8 a.m. Coffee to spike dopamine, sugar to stay upright, notifications to feel needed. By noon, you're running on stimulation and cortisol. By evening, you crash. And in the crash, you crave the loop. Numb, scroll, binge, repeat. And each repetition tells your brain, this is who we are. And that's how people build entire lives out of micro-decisions they never noticed. Not with one big fall, but with 1,000 quiet surrenders. And the outcome? It's everywhere. Bodies that ache not from age, but from disconnection. Relationships that feel dead because real intimacy requires presence. And presence was never practiced. Bank accounts empty, not because of lack, but because money was spent chasing dopamine instead of meaning. Creativity dead, not because there's no talent, but because distraction became default. This is not a morality issue. This is not about being bad or good. This is about ownership. Are you running the program, or is the program running you? If you don't choose your habits will choose your life. And most lives are built on survival loops. But that doesn't have to be your story. Recognition is the beginning of power. And you've already started. Now let's talk about the other side. The side no one shows because it doesn't go viral. The power of constructive habits. The ones that don't give you a dopamine spike in 5 seconds, but build a life you don't want to escape from. You see, the same mechanism that's been used to destroy people can be used to liberate them. A habit isn't your enemy. It's a tool. And tools don't care how they're used. They just amplify the hand that holds them. Wake up early and move your body. Your entire nervous system begins in clarity, not chaos. Start your day without checking your phone, and you give your mind the space to listen to itself, not the noise. Create something instead of scrolling, and your brain begins to associate worth with expression, not comparison. When you form a habit of sitting with discomfort instead of escaping it, you rewire the most primitive parts of your brain. You teach yourself that you are safe inside your own body. That's not just self-help talk. That's neuroplasticity. You are literally forming new pathways. You are changing what feels normal. You're not fighting who you are. You're upgrading the operating system. And suddenly, the small actions, breath work, journaling, saying no, sleeping early, walking outside, these things stop feeling like chores. They start feeling like oxygen. You realize discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect. It's memory. The memory of the future you want to live. And what do these habits create? Peace, focus, strength, energy. Not in an overnight miracle, but in consistent, invisible wins that stack until your entire identity changes. The same way bad habits quietly degrade your soul. Good habits quietly rebuild it. But they're slower. They're quieter. They don't scream. They don't reward you instantly. And that's why most people give up. Not because they're weak, but because they were trained to only chase what feels good now. To build positive habits, you have to fall in love with what compounds, not what explodes. Imagine this. You stop checking your phone in the morning. You replace that with movement and silence. You write down 3 thoughts. Not to be productive, but to be honest. You eat what nourishes you. You stay offline for the first hour. You start creating before consuming. Day 1, it's hard. Day 10, it's strange. Day 30, it feels like home. Not because the world changed, but because you did. That's the revolution. Not some massive breakthrough, but slow, stubborn, sacred repetition. The choice to build the person you were never taught to become. And once you feel it, not understand it, but live it, you'll never go back to who you were before. So how do you actually do it? How do you turn the idea of a habit into something unshakable, automatic, alive? Not through hype, not through willpower, through design, through precision. First, the habit must be connected to something bigger than itself. You won't stick to working out just because it's healthy. You will stick to it if you see your future self strong, grounded, reliable, and realize the workout is not just movement, it's alignment. A habit without a why dies. Attach it to your dream life. Make it sacred. See it as the gatekeeper between who you are and who you're becoming. When your habit becomes part of your identity, discipline turns into devotion. Second, change the environment, not just the intention. Your brain is constantly scanning for cues. If your space is full of noise, distractions, triggers, your default will overpower your desire. So clean the space. Make friction for the bad and flow for the good. Don't rely on internal motivation to fight external chaos. Set up your world so the habit becomes the obvious path, not the heroic struggle. If you want to write more, keep a pen and notebook on your pillow. If you want to stretch, put the mat where you see it every morning. If you want to meditate, tie it to something you already do, like brushing your teeth. That's the third tool, stacking. Don't invent routines from scratch. Build them onto what already exists. Fourth, track the pattern, even if it's messy, especially when it's messy. Not to obsess over perfection, but to build awareness. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they don't notice they're drifting until it's too far gone. A simple check-in, daily, weekly, can redirect the ship before it crashes. Awareness doesn't mean control, but it gives you choice. And choice is the beginning of freedom. Fifth, make it small enough to be stupid. If it's too big, you won't start. If it's too abstract, you'll forget. So start with 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a single action, a glass of water, 1 deep breath, 1 page read, 1 message sent, 1 decision made with presence. Because habits don't need intensity. They need consistency. And consistency doesn't come from hype. It comes from making the next step so easy, you don't skip it. Repetition builds rhythm. Rhythm builds trust. And when you trust yourself again, everything changes. And here's what no one tells you. It's not the habit itself that transforms you. It's who you become by honoring it. It's the part of you that chooses presence over autopilot, integrity over impulse, clarity over chaos. That version of you, that's the one who was always waiting underneath. You're not building a habit. You're revealing a self you forgot existed. Everything in your life, the love you feel, the pain you carry, the money you make, the health you live in, the voice in your head, all of it is being shaped, hour by hour, by your habits. Not your dreams, not your hopes, your habits. That's the truth most people miss. Because habit sounds boring. It doesn't sound life-changing. It doesn't sound powerful, but it is. It's the most powerful force you interact with every single day. And you barely notice it. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more information. You need to realize that everything you want already has a path. And that path is built out of what you repeatedly do. Your habits are tools. Nothing more, nothing less. Think of a wrench in a mechanic's hand. That tool can tighten, strengthen, align a machine to perfection. But in the wrong hands, with the wrong intention, that same tool can tear apart an engine, break it down, destroy what it was meant to serve. Your habits work the same way. They don't care about good or bad. They just follow orders. They serve whatever identity you've allowed to form. They're either maintaining your greatness or silently killing your potential. And every day, whether you're aware or not, you are using that tool. The question is, are you building or are you breaking? We live in a world where most people are unknowingly breaking, not because they want to, but because no one ever taught them how to use the wrench. No one ever said, hey, this tiny thing you do every morning, it's scripting your future. No one taught them that every small act, how you breathe, how you speak to yourself, how you spend your first 10 minutes after waking, is creating emotional muscle memory. That the version of you 5 years from now isn't a result of one huge decision. It's a result of thousands of tiny, quiet choices you're making today on autopilot. And the moment you wake up to that, you reclaim your authorship. You stop being a character in your own story and start becoming the writer. You want health, love, power, peace, legacy? It's not luck. It's not magic. It's habit. Again and again. When you train your habits, you train your future. You train your body, your nervous system, your mind, your relationships. You give shape to the chaos. And that shape starts becoming your identity. When you commit to powerful habits, you begin to feel it. That alignment, that inner knowing that says, I'm not just surviving anymore, I'm becoming. That's what this is really about. Not doing more, but becoming more. Not controlling life, but creating it from within. So here's the truth. You always have a choice. You can use your habits to numb, avoid, spiral, and slowly decay. Or you can use them to rise, to sharpen, to expand, to heal, to build a life so aligned with who you truly are that nothing artificial can shake it. No one else can make that choice for you. But if you're still listening, I believe you're already making it. And if this hits something real inside you, subscribe to the channel. If you feel this message needs to reach others who are ready to stop running, subscribing tells the algorithm to help them find it. And join the Telegram. That's where the real depth begins, far from distractions. And finally, if something shifted in you right now, leave it in the comments. Write, "I choose to build." Say it like a promise to yourself. Let's see how many of us are done waiting. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. Your future is being built, one habit at a time.